Drew McIntyre's rise to the top of WWE was built on reinvention, discipline, and an unshakable belief that his time had finally arrived. And by 2020, he stood as a completely different man from the one fans remembered years earlier. Taller, stronger, sharper, and mentally tougher, Drew carried himself like a champion long before everyone else fully accepted him as one. When Goldberg entered the picture, many expected the usual narrative to play out. Goldberg was still seen as the unstoppable legend, the man whose explosive power and intimidation could end matches in seconds. His reputation alone made opponents cautious, sometimes even fearful. But Drew McIntyre was not interested in myths or nostalgia. He respected Goldberg's legacy, but he did not fear it. When they stood face to face, the contrast was striking. Goldberg relied on aura and intimidation, while Drew stood calm, focused, and confident, fully aware of who he was and what he had become. As the match began in 2020, Goldberg attempted to assert dominance immediately, bringing the intensity that had defined his career. Drew absorbed it without panic. Each collision tested him, but instead of backing down, Drew stood his ground, answering power with power. The turning point came when it became clear that Goldberg could not simply overwhelm him. Drew's strength matched Goldberg's, and his endurance surpassed it. Every spear Goldberg attempted felt less effective, every burst of offense shorter than expected. Drew McIntyre began to take control, grounding the legend and forcing him into a longer, more demanding fight than he wanted. The champion's confidence grew with every exchange. Drew didn't rush. He didn't make mistakes. He dismantled Goldberg with patience, showing the world that brute force alone was no longer enough. As the match progressed, Goldberg's limitations became visible. His explosive style required quick finishes, and when that didn't happen, fatigue set in. Drew, meanwhile, looked stronger with every passing moment. The crowd, even watching from afar during a difficult era for the world, could feel the shift. This wasn't about surviving Goldberg anymore. This was about dominating him. Drew McIntyre imposed his will, striking with precision and power, making every move count. When the final moments arrived, there was no doubt left. Drew delivered the decisive blow and secured a clean, unmistakable victory over Goldberg. It was not controversial. It was not accidental. It was decisive. Drew McIntyre had beaten Goldberg convincingly, proving that the future had arrived and it was stronger than the past. That win meant more than just retaining a championship or adding a legend to his record. It symbolized Drew's full transformation into a top-tier champion. He didn't rely on shortcuts or intimidation. He relied on hard work, growth, and belief. Goldberg remained a legend, his impact on wrestling undeniable, but on that night in 2020, he was outmatched. Drew McIntyre stood tall, not just as a winner, but as the clear standard of a new era. The match became a defining moment in Drew's career, a statement that he was no longer chasing greatness. He was living it. By decisively defeating Goldberg, Drew McIntyre proved that dominance isn't inherited through reputation. It's earned through evolution, resilience, and the courage to stand unafraid in front of legends.